Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Oil futures kicked off the second half of the year with some losses on Monday, amid concerns global oil producers could bump up production more than investors expect. Crude contracts paired bigger losses earlier, stemming from a weekend tweet from President Donald Trump, who talked about a big potential production increase from Saudi Arabia. August West Texas Intermediate crude on the New York Mercantile Exchange CLQ8, minus 0.65%, was down 41 cents, or nearly 0.6%, at $73.74 a barrel, poised to give up much of Friday's 1% rise. September Brent LQ8, minus 1.69%, dropped $1.10, or 1.4%, to $78.13 a barrel. WTI crude notched another finish at its highest since November 2014 on Friday, while also logging strong weekly, monthly, quarterly and first half 2018 gains. Prices have driven higher by long-running efforts by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries to reduce production, anticipated increases in demand and supply disruptions. Brent crude logged its best finish since May on Friday, after also seeing strong gains in the first half of the year. Last week's surge to fresh 3.5-year highs for the U.S. benchmark was somewhat disconcerting, said Barnabas Ghosn, an economist at Overseas Chinese Bank. He added that the language in Trump's weekend tweet, which suggested that Saudi Arabia may increase output by 2 million barrels a day, left scope for wide interpretation. Just spoke to King Salman of Saudi Arabia and explained to him that, because of the turmoil and dysfunction in Iran and Venezuela, I am asking that Saudi Arabia increase oil production, maybe up to 2 million barrels, to make up the difference. Prices too high. He has agreed. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump. June 30, 2018. A senior Saudi Arabia official told The Wall Street Journal on Saturday that no specific promise had been made over production, but rather assurances were given that the country had the capacity to meet demand. A White House statement released that same evening backed off that tweet from Trump, according to reports. It said King Salman of Saudi Arabia had told the president that his country would increase oil production maybe up to 2,000,000 barrels. Saudi Arabia, OPEC's swing producer, and Russia reached an agreement at a closely watched Vienna meeting last weekend to raise output less aggressively than had been anticipated. The decision by OPEC and non-OPEC members to raise crude supplies by about 1 million barrels starting from 1 July was considered a negative factor for oil prices, said Hussein Saeed, chief market strategist at FXTM. However, the rise in supply from some OPEC and non-OPEC members will be met by a decline from others. Doing the math here will be complicated for investors betting on the direction of prices. Meanwhile, Deputy Energy Secretary Dan Brouillette said Friday that countries that buy Iran's oil would be given an opportunity to gradually cut back on their purchases, according to Bloomberg. Brouillette's comments were in contradiction to an earlier statement from the Trump administration that Washington would sanction countries that don't cut oil imports from the Iran to zero by November. It is problematic for the U.S. in terms of sanctions for Iran, said Bjorn Drop, chief commodities analyst at SEB Markets. They want sanctions to be implemented as quickly as possible, as forcefully as possible, but at the same time they want a lower oil price. It's a contradiction. Experts anticipate the market will lose an additional 1.5 million barrels of oil a day by the end of this year, primarily from outages in Venezuela and Iran. And analysts are watching developments in Libya, where major oil ports have been shut due to an internal power struggle in the country that has removed 850,000 barrels a day from the global oil market. I was kind of surprised to see the oil price trading down today, said Drop. If the Libyan outage continues, it is very bullish for crude. In a statement sent Monday to The Wall Street Journal, Libya's national oil company said it declared force majeure on the eastern Libya ports of Zaytuna and Hariga. A military